Today we're going to bread and fry up chicken tenders. We're going to take breasts, we're going to slice them up into 6 to 10 pieces. We're going to bread them with cracker crumbs, and as you'll see the process, what we're going to do is we're going to make an egg wash. We're going to flour them. What you want to do is you want to take a sleeve of crackers, and these are basically a saltine, but I buy an unsalted version, and you want to crush and break up the crackers as much as possible before you put them in your chopper. The smaller the pieces are before they go in the chopper, the easier it's going to be for your chopper to get them into tinier pieces. Alright, that should be good enough. We'll open this up. Usually you can get about, I think it's half a sleeve of crackers in here without any problem. Well, I might be able to get more in. Okay, now we're going to put the lid on. I start out on low speed so that the larger pieces break up easily. Alright, now you can go to high speed. Gonna dump these out onto the plate. That'll give us a start. And I also have some old cracker crumbs that I saved from last time. You can save these in the freezer and they will keep indefinitely. You know, any extra you have, use them for next time. Okay, now we're going to prepare the egg wash. I'm going to start off with 2 eggs. I'll probably need 3. Mix those up. These eggs are a bit watery already. Normally I add water to it right from the start, but I'm kind of trying to see how thick this is going to be first. Okay, we do need water. This will help your cracker crumbs stick to the chicken. Okay, we're going to prepare our flour. We're going to take a couple scoops and we're going to put it in a brown bag that's also in a plastic bag. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a shake and bake type thing. We're going to put our chicken pieces in this floured bag, and then we're going to close it and shake it, and that's going to give us the flour that we want on our chicken tenders. Okay, we're going to begin cutting up our chicken breasts. These are actually a little smaller than I usually get. I try to trim off any fat. Surprisingly, there's very little fat, but there's a little bit of a, I don't know what to call it, there's a little bit of a tendon or something here that I try to cut out. That ends up hard to chew if you leave it in. Actually found a piece of bone in there, so it's a good thing I cut it out. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into pieces. And you want to try to have them all a uniform shape, that way, uniform thickness. That way whenever you fry them up in the oil, they all cook evenly, and you can cook them all for the same amount of time. So, out of this breast, we're probably going to get about 8 pieces, I'm guessing. That's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one will cut in half. 7, 8. All right, and we'll take our flour bag. I usually prefer to have a larger bag for doing this, but I don't. So I'm only going to put 4 pieces in at a time. If you have a larger bag, you can do more pieces. So shake it. And we pull them out. See how nice that turned out? Now as this sits, the flour is going to get absorbed by the chicken. And it's actually going to look like it might need floured again. And we can do that. We'll add the rest of the chicken. You'll notice I have newspaper down on my kitchen table here. That is to make cleanup a lot easier. It's a little trick I learned from one of my chef buddies, is to put newspaper down. That way when you're all done, you just clean up the newspaper and the table's all clean. And it's also a good idea, since we're working with chicken, you don't want to contaminate surfaces. You want to be careful how often you're washing your hands when you're doing this, as you change with different steps that you're doing. That's why we saved cutting the chicken for last after we prepared everything else. So we did about 6 breasts. We cut them up into anywhere from 6 to 10 pieces. We floured all of those. So it ended up to be about 3 pounds of chicken. 3 pounds of chicken will usually feed anywhere from 4 to 6 people, at least with my appetite. If you have smaller appetite, you can probably feed up to 8 people with this. What we're going to do now is we're going to start doing our egg wash. Take one of your pieces of chicken and put it in the egg wash. Then to the cracker crumbs. You're going to want to cover this. Actually, we should be doing one hand over here, one hand over here. They call this the wet dry type of setup. And that one's done. Do our second one. Want to get as much of the egg off her as possible. The drier you can keep your cracker crumb mix, the better. Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm using both hands. But my hands are staying dry, so that's what counts. Yeah, shake off as much of the cracker crumbs as you can, because otherwise they're going to end up in the bottom of your pot of oil, and you don't want any more of that in the bottom of your oil than you can control. This process with as much chicken as we have cut up is going to take about an hour to bread all of this. So make sure you're comfortable. Have a chair if you want. Have a glass of wine or drink a coffee, whatever it is that is going to help you suffer through this for an hour. Put on some tunes.
Now it's ready to cook.
We're going to do about 10 pieces at a time. The more pieces you do at a time, the more your temperature of the oil is going to drop. Alright, we want to try to keep our oil temperature up around 350 as much as possible. We're going to cook the chicken for about 4.5 minutes. If you know how to cook by sight, you can cook by sight instead. I prefer to cook by time, and that usually works out well for me. So about 4.5 minutes once you drop in your last piece of chicken. Our chicken is done. It cooked for 4.5 minutes. It's cooled down, and you can serve it with whatever type of sauce you prefer. We have a couple different types of barbecue sauces for our taste. You could do a honey mustard, you could do a ranch, or you can make your own. And I hope you enjoy the chicken as much as me and my family enjoy it. Have a good day.